This is the Aging Gracefully class. My name is Susan Desmarais, and I've got Gail here with me to demo the poses that we're going to be working on today. We're going to start by leaning back onto our hands, rolling the shoulders back with the feet mat width apart. And we're going to start rolling the ankles in, closing the toes into a fist, rotating out, opening the toes and drawing back, rolling in, closing, rotating around, opening the toes and drawing back, rolling in, closing, rotating around, opening and drawing back. And one more time, closing, rolling around, opening the toes. And now we're going to reverse. We're going to step on the gas pedal, pressing out through the big toe mound, rolling in, closing, rotating back and around, opening, stepping on the gas, rolling in, closing, rotating back, opening, pressing out through big toe mound, rolling in, closing, rolling back, opening, and pressing out. Good. And then I'm just going to have you bend the left knee in, take the hands over the right shin, and we're just going to gently roll the knee around in circles, lubricating the hip joint, going in one direction. And then we'll roll in the other direction. And release and switch sides, taking the hand over the shins and rolling in one direction. Doesn't matter which direction you go, just start in one direction and then reverse. Good. And release. And then I'm going to have us go into table position. And in table position, you're welcome to put a blanket under the knees should you need some support under the knees. And I'm going to have you curl the toes under. And imagine that you're shrinking the mat between the hands, clawing down through the fingertips, and shrinking the mat between the knees and the feet. And perhaps you'll feel the belly moving up towards the spine when you do that. And we're going to inhale going into cat, filling out the back body with the breath. And then exhale into cow, drawing the shoulder blades in towards each other, rolling the sit bones, tailbone back. Inhale into cat. And exhale cow. And inhale cat. Exhale cow, looking up, extending the heart forward. Gently press the finger pads into the floor and drag the hands back towards the wall behind you to see if you can set the shoulder blades on the back and extend the heart a little bit further forward. And then inhale into your cat, taking it way up, chin to chest, taking the spine up as high as it can go. And exhale, come into cow. And then come into a neutral position, step the right foot back and press into the ball of the right foot. And now you're going to stretch the hands forward towards the wall in front of you, extending the back heel back, and now take the belly up towards the spine. And you should feel an opening in the back of the right leg. And you're pressing so much into the ball of the right foot and through the two hands that the right or left knee can lift along with the foot just a tiny bit off the floor, taking belly back towards spine and looking straight on at the front of your mat. And take a deep breath in. And exhale, let the knee come down. And now we're going to take the right leg over to the left. I'm just going to shift my bolster over and my blocks so you can see what I'm doing. So the ball of the right foot is pressing into the floor, and now I'm going to walk my hands just a notch over to the left and take a deep breath in, take the belly back towards the spine as you exhale, and then begin to revolve around to the left. So the hands are actually pressing out to the right And I'm pressing into the ball of the right foot and moving the hips a little bit over to the right, opening the right side of the body. And then inhale, come back to center, shifting the hands back to center and bringing the knee back into position. And take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring the left foot back, pressing into the ball of the left foot. And now stretching the mat with the hands towards the wall in front of you. And then take the belly up towards the spine and inhale. Exhale, lift the knee up off the floor just a little bit. Activating the right foot, pressing out through the big toe mound. And inhale. And exhale, take the knee down. And then take the left leg over to the right. And we're just going to walk the hands a notch over to the right, looking over the right shoulder, pressing into the ball of the left foot and stretching the mat out to the left. The hips are tacking over to the left as much as you want it to, and taking belly back towards spine, making space in the back body. So you're not collapsing in the spine here. There's some support. And inhale, come back to center. And now we're going to go wide with the knees, with the inner edges of the two big toes touching. And we're going to come back into child's pose. And you're welcome to take a blanket. I call this the knee sandwich. So you place the blanket inside of the knees in order to support the knees when you extend back into child's pose. And through the finger pads, you're going to stretch the mat towards the wall in front of you so that you can bring the hands into the action. So energy travels from the palm of the hand through the underside of the arm up into the armpit, into the shoulder blades as they meet each other. And this extends the spine back. So the sit bones reach back towards the heels. And then I'm going to have you walk the hands over to the right, and the left hand is going to extend out and the right hand is going to come back, and you're going to come onto the fingertips of the right hand. And there's a gentle pressing forward through the right hand, which takes the left sit bone back towards the heel. And the finger pads of the left hand are pressing into the floor, and there's energy drawing back into that left shoulder socket. The head is turned to the left, and now you should feel an opening in the left side of the rib cage, and you're welcome to gently rock up and down through that rib cage. Just opening up the side body, working with the rib cage as though they're like fish gills. So just getting a little bit of flexibility in the upper body where we tend to get locked up. Why? Computers, driving, daily life. So we're just trying to soften the upper part of the body here. And then when you're ready, inhale, come back to center. And then we'll come back around to the left. So the belly goes over the left thigh and the left hand comes back. We extend out through the right arm, pressing the finger pads down. Left hand is pressing forward and the right hand is actually dragging back into the shoulder socket. And then you begin to play with the movement of the rib cage, moving it up and down. So going in and out of front body and back body. And the gaze can turn to the right. If that bothers your neck, you can just keep the neck straight on. So whatever you prefer. And then come back to center. Extend out one more time. And then we're going to come up in a ragdoll method. And you're going to begin starting with the belly moving back towards the spine, inhaling as the tailbone moves down into the heels, and slowly, vertebra by vertebra, rolling up. And allow the shoulders to roll in one direction, taking them high up towards the ears and back or forward, whichever direction you're going. And then roll in the other direction. Good. And then I'm going to have you place the blocks at the front of the mat, preparing for our first downward dog. And so placing the hands on the blocks, the knees are going to be placed slightly behind the hips, curling the toes under. Take a deep breath in as you cat stretch up, and then as you exhale, extend back into your downward dog. And you know, if you find that the blocks slide on the mat, you can just take the hands on the floor, or in some cases, we even use a chair in this Aging Gracefully class for downward dog. And you can begin to rock on the metatarsals, rock up and down to the tops of the toes and back down to the heels. So just warming up the feet. I think feet are very important in yoga. Oftentimes I tell my students to oil their feet before bed. It gives you a good night's sleep, but it also keeps the feet and the ankles supple. And then I'm going to have you pivot the heels over to the right, and then bend the right knee, lift the right heel, and begin to take the left hip back, looking under the left arm. So now all the weight is in the right arm and the left leg. And then lift the heels up, pivot over to the left, bring the right heel down, but keep the left heel lifted with the left knee bent, looking under the right arm, and the hips tack around to the left. Good, and lift the heels, come back to center. Oh, that feels so good. And then inhale, look up. Exhale, extend forward into a high plank. And the high plank can either be in the classic position, or you can take the knees down to the floor. And from here, we're going to come into a low plank. And so now the blocks might want to shift out to the side. It's extra work to do low plank with the blocks. And with the knees on the floor or with the knees up, we're going to come down into a low plank, and then I'm just going to have you come right onto your belly. And now we're going to come onto our forearms, lining the elbows up with the shoulders and the wrists in line with the elbows. And I'm going to have you take the belly back towards the spine, extend the tailbone towards the heels, and press all 10 toenails into the floor, securing the entire lower back. Good, and then inhale, we're going to stretch the mat forward as we take the chin to chest, belly back towards spine. And then exhale, drag the mat back through the arms, extending forward and taking the head of the arm bones back. And then inhale, stretch the mat forward, taking belly back towards spine. And exhale. Drag the mat back, draw the head of the arm bones back, and extend the heart forward. And inhale, stretch the mat away from you through the arms. And exhale, drag the mat back, and take the head of the arm bones back. So oftentimes we feel like we're opening up fully in our Sphinx. I like to take it a step further by pressing the hands firmly into the floor and drawing the head of the arm bones back. And now I'm pulling the mat back towards the direction of my feet to extend the heart forward. And I can feel a line of energy from my throat all the way into my lower belly. Inhale. And exhale, press into the hands and slowly come up into a long cobra. And just as you think that the shoulders are opening, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, allow the head of the arm bones to release back into the socket, taking the shoulder blades in towards each other. And there's an action happening between the thumb mound and the index mound that draws all the way up into the shoulders. And then on the next exhalation, the hands walk back a little bit more. And then the head of the arm bones go back, shoulder blades move in towards each other, belly presses back towards spine to make space in the back body. And then on the next exhalation, slowly release down. Take one hand over the other and take the forehead down onto the hands. Open the knees wide, bend them, and just windshield wiper the feet side to side. Allow the lower back to release. Good. And then bring the knees back in towards each other. Place the hands. And come up onto hands and knees with knees further back from the hips, preparing for downward dog again. Taking belly back towards spine. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, extend back. Lift the heels, bend the knees, and take your bum back towards the wall behind you to get a nice extension in the upper back, and then stretch the mat between the feet. So you're just on the balls of the feet, stretching the mat between the feet, and take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, keep pressing the mat apart through the feet as you slowly extend the heels down to the floor. Good. And then inhale, look up and walk the feet forward, coming into Uttanasana 2. So just extending the spine over the legs, and you can have the blocks on either side of the ankle if you'd like. And then inhale, look up, lengthen, let the head of the arm bones release back. And now I'm going to have you stretch the mat between the feet, roll the sit bones back. And then exhale, press the blocks forward as you shrink the mat between your feet, drawing the energy towards the center line of the body. And then inhale, look up. The energy of the hands move the blocks in the direction to the wall behind you. Feet press away from each other. Tailbone, sit bones roll back. Good. And exhale, bow forward. And then place the hands on the hips. Keep pressing the feet in towards each other. Take elbows and shoulders back. And then inhale, slowly come all the way up. Going very slowly, allowing time for the blood to settle back down from the head. And then bring the hands together at the heart and take a deep breath in. And exhale the arms down, inhale the arms up. Exhale, just cross the wrists as you come to the bottom, and then inhale, take the arms up on the breath, and exhale, float the arms down on the breath, crossing the wrists at the bottom. So just syncing up, movement with the breath, inhaling up, and exhaling down, crossing the wrists at the bottom, letting the mind drop down into the heart, and letting the breath initiate the movement. Inhale up. And now exhale, bow forward. And you can use your blocks. Inhale, look up. And let's take the right leg back, coming into a high lunge. So the blocks are on either side. of the left foot, and we're going to press the back thigh up strong as we take a deep breath in, and then exhale, keep pressing the back thigh up, but deepen into the lunge through the left leg. And then inhale again, another current of energy extends upwards through the right leg. Exhale as you deepen into the lunge through the left leg. And then keep that energy of the back leg pressing up to the sky as you come up onto your fingertips. And then imagine that you're squeezing a block between your inner thighs. And then lift the arms up. Good. And I'm going to have you interlace the fingers, bend the elbows, place the hands behind the baseball cap strap part of the head, squeeze the elbows in, and press the head back into the hands and the hands into the head, inhaling. Good. And exhale, lift the arms up and release the hands down. Extend back into downward dog and stretch it out. And I invite you to roll up and down on the feet. So the temperature in here is a little cool, and I'm trying to keep my feet warm. And now we're going to take the other leg forward. So that would be the right leg or left leg? Mamma mia. Yes, the right leg. Okay. And we're just going to start first coming onto our fingertips, pressing the back thigh up strong, inhaling. And then exhale, keep pressing the back leg up, but deepen into the lunge through the front leg. And then inhale again, pressing up. And exhale, deepen down through the front leg, but keep the back leg active. And coming right up on the tippy top of the fingers, squeeze the inner thighs in towards each other, and then inhale the arms up. Interlace the fingers, take the hands behind the head, squeeze the elbows in, press head back into hands, hands into head. And exhale, lift the arms up, take the arms down, and extend back. I'm going to have you take your left foot to the center of the mat in a 45-degree position and take the front foot forward into a long stance. And we're going to turn the block onto the high side. So we're starting Trikonasana. And looking straight on at your front foot, see if you can press the big toe mound firmly into the floor, keeping the inside seam of the left leg active. And looking down at your right foot, stretch the mat between your feet. And imagine that the back foot is a flower bed, and the outer edge of the back foot is the edging of the flower bed that separates the flower bed from the grass. So it's a very defined line. And then take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, begin to revolve around, taking the tailbone in the direction of the back heel, rolling the left shoulder back, and the head simply stays in line with the shoulder, and then the arm can lift. And then keep pressing the feet away from each other, moving the tailbone into the back heel, continuing to revolve around to the left. And the legs are so active that you could come right up on your fingertips onto that block, or maybe even take that right hand to the lower back and the left hand to the lower back. Just to give you an idea of how strong those legs are in your Trikonasana. And then place the hands. You're going to take your left hand down to the block, and we're going to stay on the high side, pivot the back heel so it's straight up. And then the back foot's going to come about a quarter of the way forward, so we're in a medium stance, Parsvottanasana, and coming on the fingertips, keeping the inside seam of the front leg moving in towards the center line, pressing the big toe mound of the front foot into the floor. And then again, remember the flower bed on the back foot and the garden edging on the outer edge of that back foot. So a very defined space. You're going to inhale and look up. And now take your hands to your pelvic crest, feeling those two bones there, and begin to line them up. And as you extend forward, you keep working the big toe mound on the front foot, and you're recalibrating the position of the hips as you continue to extend forward. And then the hands can reach the block at whatever height you'd like, and extend forward over the leg. And you keep stretching the mat between the feet, working the flower bed on the back foot. And inhale, look up. And let's step the right leg back and come into downward dog. And I'm just going to have you shake out the left leg and shake out the right leg. Just get some of that energy out. And then take the right foot to the middle of the mat in a 45-degree position. Left leg forward in a nice long stance. Turn the left block up on the high side in preparation for Trikonasana. And again, working the big toe mound on the right foot, keeping the inside seam, of the left leg active. As you place the right hand on the hip, stretch the mat between the feet, and remember the flower bed on the back foot. Take the tailbone to the back heel, and now draw the right shoulder around, taking the head in line with the shoulder and lifting the arm up. So, to me, it's not so important that the arm go up. What's more important for me is that the head of the arm bone works its way back. So if you're finding difficulty with that, just work that part, bypass the arm. Otherwise, the arm can come up. So I call that the icing on the cake, right? Sometimes we don't need the icing on the cake. And on the next exhalation, bring the right hand down, and we're going to take the blocks on the high side, pivot the back heel so it's facing straight up to the sky, and walk the back foot in about a quarter of the way. So now you're in a medium stance. And coming onto the fingertips, stretch the mat between the feet and take your hands to the pelvic crest. So really important to work the big toe mound on the front foot. Inner edge of the front leg is very active. And you keep the pelvic crest level as you slowly extend forward. And then take the hands to the block. Sa. And I like to bring the arms into the action. You can see that I'm stretching the mat with the blocks. And that goes right into my shoulders and into my spine. And the feet press apart. Work the flower bed on the back foot right to the edge. And inhale, look up. And take the left leg back. Come back into downward dog. And then set the blocks aside if you'd like. And Gail, you can go ahead and set your blocks aside. Come into a high plank with knees up or off the floor. And then exhale, pivot forward through the heels if the knees are off the floor, and hover down into a low plank. And you can either come into Cobra or you can come into an upward dog. So whatever feels most comfortable for you. Whether you're in Cobra or Upward Dog, I like to kind of do figure eights with my shoulders. Get that rib cage moving, get into the upper back, and then go in the other direction. And I just had a snap, crackle, pop, which I always enjoy. So, you know, for me, it's finding the yumalicious factor. It's less important for me to have a perfect pose than it is to find the places that need a little bit of love, need a little bit of release. And take a deep breath in, curl the toes under, take the belly back towards the spine as you exhale, extend back into downward dog. I'm just going to have us come down onto hands and knees, and we're going to come onto our backs. So we're going to stack the blocks and have the blocks next to us so that we can have the blocks to support us in our Setu Bandhasana. So this is bridge pose. So we're going to lie on our backs. I have a battery pack here. And I'm going to have you bring the elbows into the side body with the palms, like the pinkies are going to face each other, and the elbows press down into the floor, and then you're going to tack the shoulders back so you can feel a hollow between the shoulder blades before you even come into the full position. And then on the next exhalation, the feet press into the floor and you slowly lift. And you go as high as you can go without straining, and then you can take your blocks, and you know, there's so many different ways that you can use your block. You can use the block on the low side, you can use it on the medium side, you can stack two blocks, or you can take a block on the high side. And then from there, bring the elbows in towards each other, pinky fingers face each other, and the inside seam of your yoga pants are going to face each other. So the feet, even though you're not standing erect, you're actually going to have Tadasana feet here. And you're going to have the inside seam of the legs facing each other, very active, like you're squeezing a block between the knees and the inner thighs, and this protects the lower back. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, press into the feet, and see if you can just lift a little bit up off the block, taking the energy of the knees back towards the heart. And then as you exhale, see if you can extend the energy of the heart out towards the knees. And then inhale, take the energy of the knees back towards the heart. And exhale, extend the heart towards the knees. And inhale. And exhale, extend the heart towards the knees. So just creating a current of energy with the inhalation and the exhalation. And whenever you need to release down onto that block, to just hang out, take a moment to take a few deep breaths, go ahead and do that. And then whether you have yourself resting on the block or with your bum off the block, you can bring the right knee into the chest, inhaling, and then exhale, press the foot up to the sky, pressing out through the big toe mound, and then bend the knee back towards the chest, and working the big toe mound, float the foot down to the floor. And then pressing into the right foot, bring the left knee up, exhale, press up, and then bring the knee to chest, working the big toe mound of the left foot, like you're gonna dip the big toe into the water. The big toe touches first, and then ground both feet down, take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're gonna lift and take the block out from under you, and slowly, like you're dropping a row of seeds into the soil, you're going to come down from one vertebra after the other, keeping the back of the neck long. Good. And then you're welcome to bring the knees towards the chest and rock side to side. So I'm going to have Gail rock side to side. Good. And then you're welcome to do Happy Baby. Taking the hands on the outside of the feet, and the elbows go wide out to the side like you're pulling back on a bow, and gently rock one knee down towards the floor after the other. So you're sort of exaggerating the lateral movement of your Happy Baby. Great, and release the feet. Good. And then when you're ready, you can release back into Shavasana. And I'm going to welcome you to take your bolster and place it over your thighs. I find that to be very grounding. Placing the bolster over the thighs, where the other option is to create a Stonehenge type effect. This is also another nice way to do Shavasan. Right, so you can make your own little Stonehenge. And take the knees over the bolster and lie back. And see if you can press the fingertips into the floor, press the back of the head into the floor, and roll the shoulders back. So there's no strain in the upper body. The heart is open, the throat is open, and the chin is such that there's a line of a smile going from one ear to the other. So just imagine this smile from one ear to the other. If the chin is jutting up, you're going to lose that smile. And if it presses in too much, that would be a very stressed looking smile. So just think about it as a nice relaxed smile from ear to ear. And let the eyes release towards the back of the head. And feel the support of the earth under your spine. You can feel the weightiness, the dark, dense aspect of the earth element under you, while the front body becomes lighter, illuminated. I like to think of Shavasana as the ultimate yoga pose. You have the light in the dark, and you can feel it in a very real way here.